Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you all to the Faculty Development Program on integration of IPR principles into teaching, research, and professional activities. It is an honor to see such a diverse group of educators from various institutions come together to share knowledge, experiences, and best practices. As we gather today at this virtual platform, we acknowledge the importance of faculty development in shaping the future of education. The ability to teach, learn, and grow is essential for academic excellence. And we believe that this program will provide a platform for you to enhance your skills, update your knowledge, and refine your pedagogical approaches. Today, we have Professor Dr. Jayaram Raghunath sir with us as a resource person. His professional journey began as an associate lawyer at Fox and Mandel, a renowned corporate law firm. He re- trans he transitioned into academia as a researcher at Kerala Agricultural University and served as a faculty member, head, and dean, etc., at several prestigious institutions, including the School of Indian Legal Thought, National University of Advanced Legal Studies, Kochi, SDM Law College, Mark Gregorius College of Law, Cooperative School of Law, and Manipal University, Jaipur. He established the first institutional arbitration center at Manipal University, Jaipur, which earned the Best ADR Innovation Award from the Asia Pacific Center for Arbitration and Mediation. He was instrumental in establishing the Professor Dr. N.R. Madhva Menon Chair on Legal Education at Mark Gregorius College of Law, and one of the Dr. Jairam sir's notable contribution is organizing Settle 21, a month-long academic conference on mediation, recognized as the largest event in the field. He is also contributing to the Bar Council of India Inspection Committee. Presently, sir is serving as a dean and professor at School of Law, GD Goenka University. Now, without any delay, I am pleased to invite Professor Dr. Jayaram Raghunath sir to deliver a lecture on the topic Curriculum Development Comprehensive IPR Curriculum. I believe that your insight would be valuable to our participants, sir. Your lecture would provide an opportunity to the participant to learn from your experience and gain knowledge in IPR. Now, welcome, sir. The house is open for you.
Thank you, Dr. Mirza, and congratulations for organizing such an amazing event. The
Thank you so
team,
much, sir.
Integral University, deserves a special appreciation because this is one area which actually is gaining a lot of significance. IPR definitely is an emerging, and perhaps it's evolving as one of the robust, I mean, one of the key areas, most lucrative area of practice. At the same time, it is posing a lot of challenges to the academy as well. So,
Yes.
congratulations to all of you, and let me thank you wholeheartedly for inviting me to this program. And the
So
theme
it's
given to me
it's our
is
completely it's our pleasure, sir.
thank you and thank you. And the theme given to me is the curriculum development, a comprehensive IP curriculum. So,
Yes.
as I understand, this whole theme revolves around how an IP curriculum can be shaped up. So,
Yes.
curriculum,
Sure.
for example, let me decode the title as now. If you see curriculum, definitely it denotes to a program as such. It's like if in an undergraduate program, normally we say curriculum is something which covers the entire program. So I assume that this is for the PG program and especially for masters in intellectual property rights. So how to develop a curriculum as such, a comprehensive curriculum as such for master's degree or for a law program is the theme today. So comprehensive means all encompassing, but again, whether comprehensive essentially means that it is relevant. So there are set lot of factors which is going to see the relevance of a curriculum. So I'll quickly run through some of the philosophical aspects before we actually go into the actual development of the curriculum as such. So I would rather wish to use a term design philosophy for a robust curriculum. So it's exactly the same, but I'm just presenting the whole idea of a curriculum development, which is comprehensive at the same time robust for any institution who which actually wish to develop a curriculum for academia. So I'll give you a little bit of my background. You must have seen, like, I'm somebody who has transitioned from academia to legal profession to academia, and so my perspective of academic is slightly different, but again more industry relevant. So whatever that I have been doing in my tenure as an academician, I was focusing more on industry relevant disciplines, curriculum, and of course, academia is core. And academia itself can be considered as one of the legal professional. We can use the term industry for even for academia. So I have taken a an approach which is both suited for academia as well as for the industry. So let us first understand how the what is the philosophy of development of a curriculum, a robust curriculum. All encompassing curriculum is fine. You can touch upon every aspects of the subject, but rather I would prefer to have something which is very relevant, specifically targeted for the oriented, for the group, and perhaps it is going to create a little more relevant in their in its approach. Basically, what exactly is the curriculum? As I described earlier, this is essentially something that which is going to cover almost, when you say comprehensive curriculum, means almost all relevant aspects. So if you look at the major aspects of the curriculum, it has to be updated one, because the UGC or the accrediting agencies or all the regulatory organizations insist on updated relevant curriculum. So insist on updating on a regular basis. Like, the curriculum has to be revamped, revisited on a regular basis according to the changes that is being presented to the industry. So this is the relevancy of a comprehensive curriculum means that it is properly updated, contemporary, flexible, at the same time learner centric. So what is learner centric means? Learner centric actually is like what the actual students want. So the value of the curriculum or the relevance of the curriculum completely depends upon what the student wants. What is the industry requirement? Whether it is updated, flexibility in terms of the choices. So this is something which actually we all these factors are to be borne in mind while you venture for the development of a curriculum. So I'll explain to the concept of the curriculum design and the various stages. Probably this will give an insight to what is the right approach in developing a curriculum. So most of the time, we see an effort by the institutions to look into the other curriculums and just to do a kind of compilation and trying to bring in something and present it something as their own. This is a practice which is widely following, but again, let me reiterate that there is a proper philosophy and concept before designing a proper curriculum. What some of the aspects I'm going to delve in detail so that this philosophy can be clear to everyone, and probably this will help in shaping a relevant curriculum for your respective institution. So I believe that the target group is comprising of industry professionals, practitioners, lawyers, students, and business. Yeah. First task, like, say, I want to develop a curriculum in IPR for my university. Yeah, let's assume a hypothetical situation that I am actually looking for developing a curriculum. So, what are the things that I should bear in mind before I venture with this project? So, the first thing is definitely the why, the need analysis. Who is the target group, and what is that? What exactly they want? So probably a need analysis will help you, like what kind of curriculum that you are looking at, and probably uh, some of the regions. Let's say, for example, the majority of the group. Say, for example, in NCR region, I see most of the people who's doing their masters specifically from industry, but less academician. So my objective would be to develop a curriculum that is industry relevant and industry friendly, or industry as per the industry requirements. Say, for example, the practitioners, professionals, in-house lawyers, uh, patent attorneys. Uh, I mean, whoever is dealing with the IP transactions. Now, once the development of that curriculum is planned, I have to align the same with university's mission. So there are a couple of theoretical or technical aspects which you should be complying with when you develop a proper curriculum. So university is having a vision, like, university is having certain objectives. Certain universities have been conceived as a global institution. Some of them follow a traditional path. Some of them follow a mixed strategy, and it's all depend upon the kind of vision with which the institution has been, developed or established. And every program and every course that is going to be designed has to be in alignment with the university's vision and mission. So the aligning is the key aspects when it comes to the design philosophy. Then, of course, what is that you want from your graduates? So the learning outcomes, like where do you want your graduates to be, your postgraduates to be, and what is the level of learning that you expect them to have? This is another philosophy which is going to be the underlying factor for the development of a curriculum. Now, of course, developing the content, identification of the resource, all these aspects comes along with this. But then again, of course, once all the design aspects have been taken care of, uh, there has to be a proper mechanism for the delivery of the content that you develop as a part of the curriculum. So, which means that instructional designs also play a crucial role in ensuring their learning. Okay, so is the planning on continuous assessment and evaluation. So a comprehensive curriculum development is something like a wholesome approach that we are required to adopt. It's an all encompassing. It's not just identifying the some topics and filling the Sudoku. It's not that. It's beyond that. It's beyond uh, 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 the 2 or 3 sheets papers, but it reflects the university's vision. It aligns with the mission and vision of the university. It assures an outcome, and it is going to determine the attributes of your graduates as well. So this exactly is what I have conceived. Maybe people may have a different perspective about this whole concept for developing a robust curriculum. This is the design philosophy. That's the reason why I have given the nomenclature design philosophy of a robust curriculum. So this is exactly what we are required to do when you plan for developing a comprehensive curriculum in IPR. So Let me move on with some of the jargons which you will be familiar with. You must have heard of learner-centric choice-based credit system, which actually has been promoted by the UGC. Outcome-based education, of course, integration of outcome-based education is the key for developing curriculum, and then a proper instructional method and with measurable outcome is again one of the most key aspects when you develop a curriculum. Of course, there are different approaches also which is followed, like I think proper research. I mean, as law faculty, we are not trained teachers, and we are not trained in developing the curriculums as well. So perhaps a lot of research, background research, would be required to develop a proper curriculum. So, for example, Bloom's taxonomy, levels of learning is so very important. Like end of the course, where do you want to see your graduates? So that their level of learning, and then there are concepts called backward design. So you find the outcome first, and you design your course accordingly so as to get there. So how do I get there? How do I reach? I want my graduates to be playing a key role in uh, industry or in judiciary, or maybe as the best practitioners. What are the skill set, that attributes that I'm going to give in my graduates? Okay, so once I find that they are going to be the leaders of the profession, and they're going to have critical and learning ability more than any other graduates, that is being sent out of many other campuses. So when I say that, I should have strategies to get there. So my delivery part, my design of the curriculum, the continuous assessment practice, the instructional design, all these aspects should be aligned so that it can give an outcome of a global leader in my graduate. So these jargons definitely has some relevance. It's always good that you have to have a proper understanding of what exactly is the choice-based credit system, outcome-based learning, and instructional design, because this is going to take care of your actual implementation part of your curriculum. Designing curriculum again involves. So this I'm talking about the backward, like the last part, but again I'll be coming back to the designing aspects. But before that, I thought it is fair for you to have a quick glimpse, because this is exactly what is going to be the consequences of a robust curriculum. So I'll come back to the first slide again. So the aligning, I'll explain a couple of concepts before I move further, because how do you align your university's mission with the curriculum that you're planning? So that's a task. University, which is running in a traditional mode, would rather prefer to have a curriculum which is slightly conservative. At the same time, it ensures a lot of learning. But whereas if a university who is progressive in nature, looking at a bigger picture or the global perspective, would rather have a curriculum which is designed in such a way that it caters to that category of students who is willing to take it up. Okay, so aligning the mission and vision is a tricky task which most of the universities do it in papers, but they no, implementing it on practical. This thing requires a lot of understanding about the nitty gritties of the COs, POs, and other things, which I think I can quickly explain this in this session. Uh, so, first of all, the universities will have certain mission which normally would say research, professional practice. There are so many others. So how many of you have read the vision statement? So I think there's a slight mistake in the slide. It should have been the other way. Vision statement. It should be just mission is vision comes first, and we are following a mission to how to reach the vision. And program educational objective is like where do you want your graduates to be? So again, once you say that I want my graduates to be a legal professional who's going to contribute to the society, who's going to contribute to the judiciary, going to contribute to the international organization. So at least you must see that your couple of your graduates are reaching there. When you say that my vision is to create global leaders, and then coming on to the program outcome. So it starts with vision, then follows the mission, then program educational objective, and program outcome is something which is going to tell the rest of the world these are the attributes my graduates are going to have. Okay, key attributes. You may list 5 or 10 of attributes, and then again program specific outcomes. Program specific outcome is something which actually is going to be specific for the program. Say, for example, LLM intellectual property will have a specific outcome, and then the course outcome. Of course, each course under this thing will have a course outcome as well. So all these things should be borne in mind before you actually venture into the process of designing the curriculum. So this correlation is something which is very key as far as designing a robust curriculum is concerned. And now, few. This is again my slide. I don't know, somehow it got jumbled up in the screen. So three words I prefer to share with you. Pedagogy, all of you must have heard. Then some of you must have at least heard the andragogical approaches and heutagogy. The heutagogy, the three jargons. We may call it jargon, but these are some terms which actually is going to determine the quality of your learning. So if you see, pedagogy is meant for the children. So we normally we tend to use this word quite often, even for your undergraduate programs or even program. But it is not that. It is actually not the adult learning strategy. Adult learning strategy is altogether different. You have to make them the self-directed learners. So the teachers only play the role of facilitators. So of course there is a transition time. So from, say, for example, there has been a debate like whether we should follow the pedagogical approach or andragogical approach for 5-year integrated program. But I would say initial years is the time where you transition from a child to an adolescent and to an adult, is the time when you have to change the approaches as well, pedagogical to andragogical approach. So where in the senior semesters, definitely the teacher is going to adopt an andragogical approach, where he is going to play the role of an instructor. Of course, these are some of the things which you would say. So I always tell my teachers, you're not going to be with your students when your students are going to argue there in a court. They have to learn themselves. They have to learn the new enactment, new cases, learn the art of interpreting. So learning the art of learning is the key here. And for, of course, self-directed learners, and heutagogy is where you create an altogether different level of learning. Say, for example, we can categorize PhD programs as that falls in this category. Even now, I've just listed, given a pictorial representation of the Bloom's taxonomy learning level, so that you can have a comprehensive understanding of what should be the approach. So your teaching or your approaches should be such that your graduates are ensured with the highest order of learning. So they should be able to contribute. There should be at least for postgraduate learning, analysis, evaluation, and creating is something that the level that you should be achieving. That you should be targeting. So this curriculum should have strategies to attain these things. So curriculum is comprising of teaching instructional methods as well as assessment criteria. Your assessment should be such that the graduates are in a position to create something new, a new domain of knowledge. Say, for example, definitely our objective of the this LLM program is exactly like that. If you see a dissertation, it's a creation of a new knowledge where the student is going to do a proper research and come out with a proper hypothesis, and they are going to test the hypothesis and prove or disprove the hypothesis, and thereby creating a new domain of knowledge. So exactly now most of the universities are integrating publication of papers as a requirement for UG programs and PG programs, which again will help them have higher order learning. The project works. So all these things actually is going to enhance the level of learning. Though, I would say, I might sound controversial. Most of the universities are now doing a kind of mad rush in research and publication. But again, this public research and publication requirement without understanding what exactly it is, why exactly it is created for. So it's a benchmarking that every accreditation agency does. But any activities that has been integrated to your academia as a religious component, like say for example, research is ingrained in my course delivery. So it depends upon several factors. Your target group, like the learner, the level of their learning skills. There could be advanced learners. Your campus may be having average learners or slow learners. So it's upon depend upon how many. So what is the cohort? What is the size of the cohort, and what is the capacity of the cohort which you are actually having? So it's all depend upon the kind of graduates that you are joining your campus is also very key in designing the curriculum, because that they are the target group. You cannot design a course which is way above what they actually want. If you say, for example, international IP regime or international transactional IPR, it's something that is way beyond comprehension for many of the graduates. So it should pitch at an average learner, providing an opportunity for the advanced learner to have grab more out of it, and it also should cater to the slow learners as well. So maybe this is the right approach in designing a proper curriculum. So the curriculum design, I would say, the curriculum design philosophy should be touching upon all these aspects. Then you'll be able to develop a robust curriculum. So these aspects are something you should always bear in mind. Like, what is my target group? Always bear in mind what is my target group, for whom I'm preparing this curriculum, and what is going to be the philosophy, and what is my institutional objective, what is the vision, what is my expected outcome. So what is that I want in my this thing. As a team of academicians, you should deliberate and decide and what should be the right approach in developing the curriculum. Then again, of course, the rest of the things, adding contents to the curriculum is an easy task. Adding resource materials again is not a big challenge. But rest of these things, like these technical aspects, should be deliberated, uh, integrated, and assimilated into the curriculum. Okay, so designing intellectual property. So there can be I'm going to share what should be the philosophy for designing intellectual property curriculum. Say either some one of the strategies you can adopt is focus more on research. Ensure all, because research is something that caters to the needs of every industry. Academically relevant, of course, though most of the postgraduates would be preferring academics as their primary this thing. But then there are a group which definitely requires an upskilling. Upskilling is one of the objectives the graduates of a postgraduate program. Okay, so these should be the focus of your curriculum. This either should emphasize thrust more on research and of course academically relevant. So you have to incorporate more jurisprudential related sessions. And of course there are some courses which is designed specifically to cater the needs of the industry means, say, for example, in-house lawyers, practitioners. So what is that you want in your curriculum? So this is something which you have to decide upon, the kind of students that you're going to undertake your program. So if you are in a university and you are offering a course on transactional IPR, it may not be of much relevance because any faculty, any aspirant academicians may not prefer a course on transactional IPR. I mean, a program on transactional IPR. Developmental IPR, where there is a lot of research and trust is given on academic transaction, is something that may not be of an interest of people who is in the practice area. Okay, so focus on what is the niche that you wanted to develop. Even if you plan for a comprehensive curriculum, you can have a blend of all, but ideally try to develop a course which is so relevant to your university's vision and your objective and the attributes that you want in your graduates. And then again, I'll just quickly, so the industry requirement mostly would be specifically relating to academia research focused, rega. Rest of the industry is application based. So most of the practitioners, whoever I meet, my law students, they say, we wanted to understand more about the prosecution, filing, due diligence, and transactional side of IPR. Transactional IPR is being emerged as one of the area where you have an option to develop a trans course on a program on transactional IPR as well. But of course, as every mandate suggests, you should have a basic understanding of the philosophical aspects, and then again focusing more on transactional aspects. Now, I have categorized the curriculum development into two different components. One of the focus area could be developmental IPR. Developmental IPR, we may call it generally IPR course, right? So LLM in IPR, when you say it, talks about the basic concepts of jurisprudence, the basic foundational aspects of IPR. We discuss case laws, we discuss the case laws in order to understand the philosophy of IP. So it's more academic in nature, but the transactional IPR is one area where we are focusing on the industry. So these are the two themes which I have handpicked for this session, because it is going to tell you how to develop a curriculum for the developmental IPR as well as for the transactional IPR. Hope I'm not going too fast. If we can take a couple of questions in between as well. So I would like to be rather interactive, as I learned that it is live, is being live streamed. So there is no scope for live interaction, and that's quite disappointing for me. Yeah, so I prefer to have a couple of questions raised to me in between, because I know that it is slightly tricky, slightly interwoven. Uh, but let me tell you, this is something which you should have a clear understanding before you venture with a proper curriculum design. So I'll see. So the focus for me, I would say, is more on understanding the philosophy of developing this curriculum. Okay, so rest of it anybody can do. You identify the content for this. You identify the topics for it. You assemble and prepare it. And then there is another major component, which again, which we have discussed, is instructional design. How you are going to take care of the delivery part of the course, and what kind of assessment strategies, continuous assessment as per the outcome-based learning, is something that again is to be given a lot of focus, because if you really want to have a quality graduates, going out of your campus, you require to focus on all these aspects. It should be all encompassing. It's not that you just compile a couple of topics from here, there, and put it in a paper, deliver it as a curriculum. It's an all-encompassing and a comprehensive approach that you should be taking when you think of designing this curriculum. Okay. Now, say I'll give you a, a glimpse of what exactly is the developmental IPR. So here we focus more on how IP contributes to academia. So it's basically the intellectual property research, innovation, and we also uh, study a lot of jurisprudence when you philosophical aspects. So which is actually the foundational aspects of economics of intellectual property rights as well. So economics of intellectual property is something which again requires a lot of research because it helps in policy developments and so many other things. So until and unless, so say for example, IP is considered to be a public good. So public good perspective or sociological jurisprudence should be incorporated. Well, I always ask my students whether patent is a incentive to innovate or incentive to disclose. So this is one dichotomy. If you are thorough with so you will be somebody who actually I can believe that you have touched the core of IP. So integrating your philosophy or jurisprudential aspects again is the key because postgraduate studies are not just taught programs; they are research programs, and therefore it should be focusing more on jurisprudential aspect, the philosophical aspects of intellectual property rights. So that's the key in developing a postgraduate curriculum. So understanding an IP philosophy or this thing now, all the philosophies are going for a toss because the smell marks is challenging the copyright landscape, patent landscape, and probably these you'll see a complete overhauling of the philosophy as such because now there's a huge opportunity for academic researchers as well as the transactional IPR researchers as well. So this is something going to now you will be able to see a major change or a paradigm shift in even in the philosophical aspects because integrating all these aspects to the conventional IP regime is again a challenge. So we need a good group of good researchers to delve into it, decode it, align it with the jurisprudence of intellectual property rights. So it definitely the developmental IPR is one area which actually is going to cater to the policymakers, academicians, NGOs. There are so many people who do research in these areas. And then again, of course, the key modules I have listed it out. I mean, it's this is something which I've done randomly. It's not that I've spent a lot of time in developing this because when I was asked to take a session here with this university, of course, such sessions are definitely inspiring for me. Of course, an academician, it's always a pleasure to share my thoughts with my peer group. And these are the key things, key modules which you can see when you are actually planning to develop a curriculum in developmental IPR. So give trust on jurisprudence of IP, understanding the role of IP again in economic development because we have to view IP as a sociological good. So this is an area where which see when I say the developmental IPR, this is the research in this area is going to contribute to the policy framing ideas, and that this is going to you are going to be the key players in deciding what our country wants or what the global IP regime is looking at. So developing IP and innovative policies again is something which actually say if you do a jurisprudential research about AI and its implication of intellectual property, you will be amazed to see that there are certain things are actually going to change, and be it the cryptocurrency, the concept of it's a challenge for the entire uh, team and who is working in the field of economics, like how what kind of impact it's going to create. So these are all amazing areas of research, again, which has a tremendous potential. I would say developmental IPR still holds good. I mean, it is equally good and as amazing as developmental IPR, I mean, transactional IPR is all about. Now, addressing global changes through intellectual properties access to IP as a public good. These are some of the key modules that you can integrate in courses relating to IPR is through these kinds of exercise. Okay, so this is that's I think the concept of developmental IPR is clear uh, because it's basically, I would say, a conventional approach we take in developing a course and curriculum within the universities, but it gives a lot of focus specifically on research and the economic philosophies of intellectual property rights. And coming on to the transactional IPR, the focus on framework for managing, transferring, commercializing. Lot of people are working in the industry who uh, actually is clueless about. I mean, say for example, our graduates who is who's gained a law degree in our campus is clueless about international filing of patents. They are not aware of what is IP due diligence. They are least informed about the intellectual property valuation, complex licensing agreements, complex dispute resolution methods. So these are an area which is not being so much of importance in academic world, but this is again another area which holds a lot of significance, and many of them are keen to take a programs on transactional IPO because it helps, or it rather creates an upskilling. It's helping in an upskilling of our graduates who may not be taking an academic track or a research track, but rather they prefer to focus on application side of it. So the target groups. So it's again key in curriculum development is understanding the target group. Depending upon the cohort you get and the nature of the cohort, you may tweak your syllabus or curriculum in such a way that it caters to the needs of industry professionals or academicians. So if the target group is more on the side of corporate, law firms, startups, innovators, government employees or whatever, their requirement is altogether different. Of course, these the basic philosophies is should be common for all, but again, your focus should be more on developing the transactional side of this intellectual property, this curriculum. So basically, uh, most of our students on postgraduate program uh, uh, are actually either practitioners. Uh, some of them are very keen in academic research. Uh, but then I would say at least more than 50% of them are also keen in taking up opportunities with these professional organizations like in-house departments of the corporate entities or law firms, or uh, some of them are even trying to have startups. Many of them are innovators. So interdisciplinary research is again so much of relevant. So they prefer to have an in-depth understanding of how a patent application is filed, how an international application needs to be handled. Then what is the process of prosecution for both? uh, uh, patent, trademark, the process, the prosecution, the object, the objections, and then the counter uh, uh, claims, challenging the process in the registry, uh, filing the replies, search, examination. These are processes which is not known to the academician, but rather preferred by most of the practicing professionals. So probably certain programs, say for example, LLM in commercial IPR, transactional IPR, could be something which can, of course, should have modules like this. IP due diligence. IP due diligence is another big area which, if you say in mergers and acquisition, if you see, I'm sharing this because as a practitioner, this is the kind of orientation that I had, and this is the kind of influence I had in the academic sector. So I prefer to view the academics from the side of a professional. So IP due diligence is, if you see the commercial transactions, so the major portion of the value is on intellectual property assets rather than the actual commercial value of that particular product. So understanding what is IP valuation is again one of the key in areas in IP law firms. I used to teach the Volkswagen acquisition of Rolls Royce during my class. The classical case on IP due diligence failure. So incorporating these types of aspects to your curriculum give an altogether different structure for your IP curriculum. So I would say it's all about your target group. So which is a group which is going to be undertaking your program, and design and tweak the syllabus and curriculum accordingly, bearing in mind all those aspects which I have discussed earlier: the vision mission alignment, universities alignment, instructional method, assessment method. All these should form the foundation of your curriculum development. And and transactional IPR, some of the key aspects, uh, which of course was a part of my discussion here and there, understanding IP as a corporate assets. These are some of the key areas where you can incorporate in your transactional IPR programs, understanding the IP as a corporate assets rather than it's an intangible asset, which is value more than your actual physical assets. Due diligence and IP valuation is another key. Mastering IP agreements, like there are a lot of technical aspects in IP agreements. So multitude of agreements are happening, contracts are happening relating to take from start. Let's start from the open source licensing agreement. That itself has a lot of different categories of transaction: TOTs, technology transfer, non-disclosure agreement when you assign somebody to do your work. So there are many of the areas in contract which relating to IPs, which forms the majority of the transactions in corporate world. So teaching all of this, I know it's a challenge for academician, but again, it can be an altogether different concept. Dispute resolution mechanisms. IP arbitration is again gaining popularity. Strategies for IP commercialization again is another area you can definitely look on. Handling IP international IP transactions. So uh, these are the areas which you can seriously look into when you are actually defining your curriculum, planning your curriculum, and developing in the curriculum. So hope all of you have certain idea about the design philosophy, I call it, the concept of development of IP curriculum. So I'll quickly go through some of the topics which you have come across, which all of us have come across, which can be a part of a comprehensive, contemporary, yeah, the relevant, most relevant IP topic, IP curriculum. So of course, now again, the developmental IPR, if you say, it's going to help refine policies relating to artificial intelligence and regulatory framework. Patents and AI is, it's everywhere. If you take conferences, 9 out of 10 is going to be on artificial intelligence, blockchain technology, and patent protection. Again, a complex technology for to comprehend for legal professional. But again, as lawyers are master of none, jack of all trades. So obviously, we all know a little bit of blockchain technology and how does it work, even though we may not be knowing the technicalities. But to uh, give a solution for the requirement of the law, we should have basic understanding. So interdisciplinary understanding of the subject is also very much relevant for IP curriculum. Let me tell you, unless you know about medical science, engineering, pharmacology, genomics, it's very difficult to comprehend intellectual property as a regime to the to cater to the needs of these specific industry. So if you look at most of the law firms, they employ uh, professionals from relevant disciplines as their patent attorneys and patent counsels, not the lawyers. So understanding of different discipline is also very much relevant for intellectual property law professionals. So genomic technology and patent, unless we know what gene technology is, how gene works, and talking about patenting of genes, whether it is a discovery or whether it is a innovation or methods of patent, extracting a gene, express sequence tags, all these things are something which requires an interdisciplinary understanding as well. So developing a comprehensive curriculum is an equally tough task. Understanding the domain is another major aspect which you should all bear in mind, and putting it together in a structured way, uh, 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 meeting the requirement of the profession. I mean, the university is also something which is definitely a task, but again, it's definitely a rewarding task, because coming out with a robust curriculum is something which is going to lay the foundation of your campus. Now, the patent and public health is another. See, these are quick. You can run through these topics because this is something which should I believe that should be a part of a curriculum that is being developed, which is current, contemporary, and updated. So policy research and access issues, green technology and patent, these are all things which actually involves a lot of this thing. IP jurisprudence, uh, again, the topic for transactional IPR is standard and essential patents, FRAND, various types of licensing in IPR, IP valuation, IP arbitration, patent pools is again something which is adopted to get away with the patent trolls, open source patents, all these aspects are there. Of course, couple of another few topics as well: digital copyright issues, emerging issues in copyright law, AI, NFTs, then streaming service and copyright issues, OTTs, privacy and digital rights management, DRMs. It's always been a topic of debate since it has evolved since 2020. So recent developments in trademarks, smell marks, whether again it is coming back again. A lot of disputes are happening. So IP litigation and ADR. Of course, ADR is replacing most of the conventional litigation practices. So dispute resolution now is being taken away with the ADR and RMEDAR, uh, uh, you know, clauses of the contracts. So comparative analysis of Indian this thing. So I think I've rushed in. I think I should have been a little slow, but I because in an effort to cover the basic philosophical aspects, I think I've touched upon major of the philosophical aspects. Yeah. So I hope.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, we have some question. If you permit that, then we will proceed the same thing.
Yeah, yeah, obviously. I mean, of course, I would love to have. So, to what extent does commercialization of research outputs through transactional IPR impact academic environment? Definitely, let me tell you, this is going to enhance. It's not going to adversely affect our this thing, because commercialization of research is happening. Because if you see multidisciplinary universities, uh, adult incubation centers in various
Yes.
campuses is creating a lot of startups. You know, it's the commercialization IP is something that we want actually, and a lot of importance is being given to the commercialization of IPs, intellectual property right, that is developed in house. Because majority of the academic, I mean, the research, say for example, it's not about law. If you take engineering, if you take bioscience, major research happens within the universities itself. If you see the HapMap project, and human genome mapping project, it was led by majority of the universities. It's not that it is happening in the in-house research R&D department of pharmaceutical sectors or industry. But majority of the intrinsic research that is, I don't know how many of you know about the quadrants of research, like need driven. There are four quadrants of research actually. So I mean, I just want you to quickly Google that. So what are the four quadrants of research? If you see the actual intrinsic pure research, we call it pure research happens within the university without commercial motive, but you have an opportunity for commercialization of the research as well. So
Thank
definitely,
you, sir.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
So what digital tools or platforms can
So
help
that, yes.
in learning IPO concepts? See, I am somebody who prefers to done away with the conventional approach. I
Yes.
prefer an altogether different classroom setting. Uh, I prefer more on project-based learning. I prefer more on simulation, hands-on experience. You know, you can, of course, you have your database for your basic understanding as a student. You can have a lot of databases like Science Direct, this thing, LexisNexis, Westlaw, uh, this thing to pursue your. I mean, because I'm not referring to the databases of or law records. I'm referring to the journals, main online and all, like to understand more about the research. And of course, the learning transaction, you can use tools like there are many research tools as well. You can use LMS for your, I mean, for the classroom transaction. But apart from that, for your research, you have to rely on mainly rely on the databases. Databases in the sense, databases like Lexis or Westlaw, and yeah.
Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to Sir for delivering an outstanding lecture on this topic. The lecture was informative, engaging, and thought provoking, and we are grateful for the time and effort, sir, you invested in this, in the preparation and presenting it to us. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all for your participation and engagement today. So,
Thank
sir,
you, Professor Mehta, because I see. For me, it should have been like a platform where we could have interacted. But I understand it is a live streaming. Uh,
it's a kind of monologue, sir.
yeah, it's a monologue exercise. But I would love to have a feedback, and please share with me the
Sure,
feedback
sir.
that you get from the participants. Okay, thank you so much for inviting, and it was a
Thank
pleasure
you so
joining.
much, sir.
Yeah, and
Bye, sir.